Welcome to Under the Plum Bod podcast, where we talk about all things about The Sims. I'm Allie, and I have with me,
I'm Caitlin.
and we're here to talk about Sims Online. Anyone know Sims Online? I didn't realize Sims was online.
Do you remember back in the early aughts, late 90s, when absolutely everything was like, it's this, but it's online? Because the online is the new frontier.
That is true.
That's what this was.
Was it Sims? Or no, it was just the discs. It was always a disc game for PC. So I guess it wasn't online.
Yeah, you still had to download it. I don't know how early internet worked. I just know the modem noise, that Gen Zs don't know what that noise is anymore.
The yeah, the AOL online. Yes. Did you ever get the disc in the mail to try that shit out?
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
I mainly wanted to do this one so we could talk about like the early days of the internet because it was such a weird time.
It was a weird but great time at the exact same time.
Nobody knew what was going on, so
No.
You just did. They were just people making 8-bit games because you could do that.
Yeah. Those little 8-bit games, they're just making them online. You just play them. I remember what the keys were. You just tap the keys.
There was one where you were playing. What is that Greek myth with a minotaur in it?
Greek myth with the minotaur.
But you were playing somebody stuck in the maze with a minotaur, and you had to like get yourself out of it. I don't remember what that. But I just remember I found it once, and then you never found it again because I don't think you could favorite
pages yet,
pages at the time,
bookmark or anything.
If you lost it, you lost it, and I don't know how I found it.
Oh Lord, I just remember a lot of early aughts.
Neopets was a big one.
I was Neopets. Yes, Neopets online. That was like the shit.
I also jumped to. I love Neopets mainly because of the games. I played a lot of games on Neopets. I was really good at any of the click shoot games. Like if you just had to like focus in real hard and click to shoot them. I was amazing at those. But I also then jumped ship to something called PetCube, which I recently found out everybody on that website, including the person who made it, was like my age. So it was just a bunch of like 10-year-olds running around this website.
So basically that era of I don't think Minecraft was made by 10-year-olds, but people running around and doing random shit.
You assumed people were either older or your age, and you just guessed. You're like, I don't know. It was a dangerous time.
Dangerous times. I remember, now thinking back, I shouldn't have been doing this. But those chat rooms, Lord, when chat rooms were a thing, whoo, should not have been in those. But
wasn't there a website where you were like I think this was a little bit later, but you were like a person in a hotel, and it was just like a whole bunch of chat rooms, and you were just going to hotel room to hotel room. I remember you could also buy furniture, and then people made mazes.
What?
In the rooms. So you would go in there and you'd have to click things to get around to get to another room, and there'd be a party at the end. It's not Hobo Hotel. That's wrong. But it's something like that.
It's something like that. But you just clicked something in the back of my brain that I don't know what it is.
This was later aughts, not early aughts, but I do remember this website. Early aughts was just a weird time, and nobody was safe from but now it's this thing you loved, but now it's on the internet. Now everything's connected to the internet. It doesn't matter what it was. I hate that you have to be online to play Sims. I hate it.
Yeah.
You can't be offline and play the game, which is I don't need it. I don't need the gallery. That's really the only thing you need.
Yes. It's funny because they disconnect me from the gallery when I'm in the flipping game anyway.
Yeah.
So
I
gotta end up reconnecting to the gallery. So I don't know, EA, just saying, fix it. We're not being salty, but just fix it.
A little salty. Side note, my dad did go to Mackinac and he brought back like 3 different kinds of fudge. It's great.
That's some good fudge, though. Badass and brought back fudge.
Okay, so The Sims Online, for context, The Sims Online went from mid Sims 1 to pretty much the end of Sims 2. So it actually had a pretty good lifespan as far as the
Okay.
Sims game goes. Because I think it ended like August 1st, 2008, and Apartment Life, which is the last pack for Sims 2, came out August 26th, 2008. So, like, 2 big Sim
Okay.
things ended within a month of each other.
Hmm. And maybe that's why they gave us all the best of Sims 3.
Maybe. Because they were just like, and we're sorry we took everything away from you, so here you go.
There you go. You've done better.
They were potato faces, but look at the water.
We didn't know they were potato faces at the time because we went with it. The graphics weren't there.
I also think there's people on Twitter who post, like, people who say they can't make good looking Sims in Sims 3 aren't trying, and they'll post something. I'm like, but this has CC all over the place. Like, that's the point. You need custom content.
Exactly.
It's like, that's my point. You needed the custom content. Because there's no definition in the face, there's no angles. I'll bring it up every time. I gotta be that one non Sims 3 stan. So you did have to have Windows to play The Sims Online, as Windows was, you couldn't get away with doing anything without having a Windows, which is kind of the same now, to be honest. Like, let's talk about monopolies in the. That's a different podcast.
That's a different one.
Actually, that podcast is actually called Behind the Bastards. I did just listen to a 2-parter on Bill Gates.
Oh Lord.
uh,
This wasn't on Mac yet, or was Mac not that big yet? I can't
Mac wasn't
remember.
that big. I think, like, if you had a Mac, you were fancy. Like, if you had a Mac, you were probably doing some graphic design shit. Like, that's how I feel.
Okay.
In 2002, Sims Online won E3's Game Critics Choice Award for Best Simulation Game. Also, it won Best Massive Multiplayer, because this is Sims made an MMO. You
Yeah.
World of Warcraft fans, you Final Fantasy peeps, this was an MMO. So what happened was you got the disc, you installed it, you did the dial-up noise, you were brave, you made sure nobody was going to call you because you couldn't be on the phone and be on the internet at the same time, unless you were super fancy.
The glory days. Get off the internet! I need to make a phone call.
It's so important. So then you logged in, and at this point, you got to make your sim, and because Sims Online started during Sims 1, everything had Sims 1 graphics. That's what it looked like. Very Sims 1, so you pretty much got to deal with, like, my hair is either super spiky or like 50s, or you got to do
You
got
get
to
three
make yourself.
choices.
Once you made your person, there were 12 cities for a sim to choose from.
That's a good amount.
That's actually, yeah, there's actually a lot to do here.
Because we were like, what, 7 years in, and now we have like 12 or so different cities we can go to?
Yeah. Sims 4. I am excited for whatever that town is for country living. It looks really nice.
It does. It does. I'm super excited about all that. When's it come out?
22nd. So when this comes out, it'll be tomorrow.
Oh.
Happy pre-expansion release. It's coming out on a Thursday? That's weird. Oh, so the patch can come out Tuesday. Congratulations. Sims can now garden, and children can now garden and help with cooking. And then tomorrow, it's Country Living Day, y'all.
Country living?
Cottage living. God damn it.
Cottage living. Oh.
Country Living was the fake one that got leaked.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't far off the mark, though.
Cottage living. I'm excited for the llamas.
The llamas, I didn't expect to see them. Apparently they have a beef with alpacas, which is fun.
I'm here for it. I'm here for a random fictionalized beef. I'm here for it.
This is mild spoiler alert, but I was watching It's Me Tori video, and she said that you can die via chickens. Like you can send your chickens to attack people, and
Ooh.
the bunnies can kill you
Okay.
for new deaths.
Always excited for new deaths.
Back to Sims Online. We're on the internet. We've made our sim self or whoever you want to be. And then you can pick from 12 cities, and you need to train in skills to unlock new interactions and careers. So just like it's kind of like The Sims where you're like so you're just playing real life and you're like, yes. But you're doing this with an MMO with so like your sim self, I need to level up cooking so I can pay rent for this house that I have.
There's no cheat. There's no cheat code. No
I
mother
didn't
lode. Real
find
quick.
any cheats. There probably was, because Sims has always been pro. Here are the cheat codes. We don't care. Do whatever you want.
That's true.
Uh, but I didn't find any cheats. I also didn't play this because I don't think I was allowed to play it. I don't think that they would have gotten this. I don't think I would have been allowed to play this game. But you could also you could increase skills by visiting a skill category property. So there are certain properties that are like that you're at a mechanic shop, so your mechanic will go up faster in this house. And when multiple sims are working on one skill concurrently, you'll build it up faster too. So if like you're playing chess with another person, it'll go up faster. So it's
Okay.
promoting that MMO quality of it. So these skill properties or skill houses were common. They were as they refer to in the game. Usually specialize in like one or two skills, and were often mentioned the property names, so you knew where you were going.
Yeah.
Okay, so there were 12 cities. There's good summaries for each of these cities at it's the Sims fandom wiki, neighborhoods in the Sims Online. But there's 12 here. There's here. Pick one, and I'll read up there's good ones for all of them. I don't want to read all of them, but pick a town here, and I will read the
Hmm. What's Dan's Grove
Dan's Grove.
or East Jerome?
Dan's Grove is, if you desire the rustic lifestyle, choose the healthy life of Dan's Grove. This area, once home to fruit and nut tree plantations, is now considered to be some of the most desirable real estate property in the land. Adding to the attraction is the city's most moderate climate, green pastures, and ice blue waters. Build your nest at beautiful Dan's Grove. Who is Dan, and why did he choose a plantation city to be named after his area?
Dan sounds a little sketch.
We don't like Dan that much. Pick another city. Dan's canceled.
Okay.
Move on.
If that's Dan's Grove, then please tell me what East Jerome has to be.
Oh no. I guess this is also going to have early odds problematic language.
I always love going back to like the early 2000s. You're like, ooh, we did that.
We thought we were okay with that.
No, we are not.
We're much nicer than West Jerome is the slogan of this humble city of industry, and the inhabitants couldn't be more right. Placid rivers and lakes, emerald pastures against dramatic cliffs make for some of the most picturesque scenery east of the Western Hemisphere. Frolic in the meadow while basking in the sunlight of East Jerome, not affiliated anyway with West Jerome. Which you can't be in West. I don't think West Jerome exists. Let me West. Nope, West Jerome is not an option.
Google West Jerome real quick.
And like Alphaville is the largest city in the game. Betaville is supposed to be. This is where EA tested the new game function, so it's the beta.
I'm about to say alpha beta.
You get it. Dragon's Cove is notable for being the most difficult city in the game, since energies will go down faster here and it's hard to earn money. So I like that there was like a hard mode. There's also Test Center. When a sim moves in, they get 600,000 simoleons instead of the normal 200,000, but they're unable to move out. EA tested new objects there as well. And there's also a large ton of hidden cities.
Oh. They just threw everything in here.
I know. They worked hard on this. Like, this must have taken some bit to code because it was like on the front end of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Blazing Falls, Calvert's Creek, Dan's Grove We Hate, East Jerome, Fancy Fields, Jolly Pines, Mount Fuji, Interhogan, and then the hidden cities are players you could see them from the mainland, but you couldn't actually access them.
Okay.
Shanapolis might be my favorite weird name in here. Pizzy
The
Point.
Billabong.
Oh, Ava put a note in here. She would like to point out that the oldest profession never dies. There was some controversy because apparently some people set up virtual brothels in exchange woohoo for simoleons, and Ava respects that. Also, you gotta get simoleons, especially if you were in Dragon's Cove. You gotta make a living.
Work, girl. That's how you make your money. Make your money. Again, if I can make Don Lothario work for me in my strip club in my save games, y'all can make other people make you some simoleons. Go ahead.
He's just living his best life. And so I jumped into, there is a version of this you can kind of download now for free called Free SO Launcher, which I found, which is pretty much Sims Online, and it's still active to this day. I found it because Plumbella did an episode, she did a video on it back in late March 2020. So the peak scaredness of the pandemic, she was making that video. And also she was playing it, and like there's people in there who like, so when you first go into the city as a new person, you kind of have to go into like a starter house. You have to be there, so build up your skills so they're not just putting you out into the, like, you know nothing, good luck. So you can build up your skills, build up like your cooking and your stuff so you're actually can be a functional person.
What? Outside. They want to help you do that?
I know, so weird. But you get there and there's always somebody whose house that is, who's helping take care of you. And in her video, she had somebody be like, do you need food? I'll make food for you. Okay, you need to do this? I'll help you do that. Like, aww. Super nice. And she, because it was scariest in one of the, like, during bad times of pandemic, she's crying because, like, she's like, someone's so nice. And I was like, that's cute. I'm ironclad because I'm March 2021 in the pandemic going into this, and I went into a different house and the same thing happened to me, and I was like, it's so nice in here. Everybody's just trying to be helpful.
You guys are just so nice.
And for the first week in the game, so also week outside of the game because it's real time MMO, you build skills faster. So while you're staying in that like, is it a halfway house? I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of a halfway house where they take care of you while you're learning to be a person. You learn skills faster, so you just want to sit in there and But then I forgot to go back after I did it the first 2 days, so I'm afraid to go back in there now.
You're like, they're fine in there.
Just live there forever. Well, you do, like, it's an online thing, so your sim doesn't like stay there forever. Your sim will like disappear and then reappear back wherever they were standing. So I'm just gonna pretend like they're just having a nice time in that house. Also, Sims 1 is wild. You can dance in a cage. You can get your dancing outfit. Yeah.
What? See, I never played 1 and 2, so
I think I was posting in our Discord. I'm pretty sure I posted some picture, like I was like screen grabbing some stuff and being like, this place is wild.
I think I remember that now that you say that. I was like, what is Caitlin doing?
Research? I'm researching.
When playing games is your research. It's great.
So this unfortunately came to, as with everything in the world, everything comes to an end. So we said it ended in August 1st, 2008. At some point during its popularity waned, and they tried to, instead of doing it in Sims Online, they tried to change it to EA Land, which is
awful.
At some point, that's when Maxis took over. I don't know if when you could tell when EA bought it, but probably when EA Land took over. And the shutdown is commonly referred to as the EA Land sunset.
Oh.
Because they made some changes and they went, I don't know, nobody's liking it anymore? I don't know, it's weird. We made changes and everyone hates it. Nobody asked for this.
Sucky changes.
The failed rebrand. So in March 2007, EA announced The Sims Online. They were going to improve it. Do you want to know what they did to improve it?
Oh, what'd they do?
With a subscription fee of $9.99 a month, it was announced the game would be shut down. So it became a subscription fee of $9.99 a month after
Bruh.
when they redid it.
We weren't so invested in subscription fees then, okay?
No, and like nobody liked the idea of a subscription fee. Like I don't think did World of Warcraft come out at this point? Is that the big? When did WoW come out?
I think that was the only subscription fee was Netflix people were dealing with around 2007.
And they were still getting mailed. I don't even think Netflix was big at that time. I think Blockbuster was still happening.
Was it 2007?
So WoW had been out for 3 years. So I guess there was a precedent for a subscription gaming thing happening. And I guess EA was like, well, this MMO is getting money every month. We should get money every month. But backtracking and adding a subscription fee when you didn't have one,
yeah,
no one likes that.
No one. No. I still don't like my subscription fees that I have that I forget about until I see them come out my bank account. And I'm like, oh yeah, I still have that? Probably get rid of that. But I already paid for it, so.
A coworker of mine just discovered Spotify. And I was like, where are you paying?
I still refuse to pay for Spotify. I only have it for free.
Those ads for themselves are so annoying.
I'll skip right through.
I can't stand it. Well, I'm listening to music half the time, so you're like 3 songs in, like, oh god.
I only use it for a couple podcasts that are now only Spotify exclusive. And I'm like, you guys.
I hate, this is very meta of a podcast talking about podcast platforms. But podcasts are pretty much the only thing I can say with certainty that I was there before it was cool. I was listening to them, like, I would download the audio, put it on my Zencaster. My download, put it on my Zen, listen to it, then have to delete it after I was done and then re-download it next week. Like, that's what you had to do before all these RSS feeds happened. Because, like, my thing with Spotify that I hate, its UI is not podcast friendly, because that's not what it was meant to do. But since they're making so much money off of all these podcast exclusive deals, they're never going to change their UI to be podcast exclusive.
That's true.
And that annoys me. Like, I'm like, I hate that stuff is going to a place that's not meant for podcasts, and also will never change to help make them better for podcasts.
They're like, no, you're going to give us money still? Okay.
I'm not going to change. We don't need to. So we're not going to do it.
It's called capitalism, people. Welcome to America.
I did have a moment earlier this week when I was like, you know what? Capitalism's not bad. When I went into Kroger and they were selling like this thing of shrimp that had Old Bay seasoning on it for like $5, and I was like, I'm looking at my dinner right now because I'm hungry and in the store, and it was a mistake to come in here, but I'm gonna eat that. I was like, capitalism's not so bad.
I get food like this. Okay.
So it got a subscription fee, and then the game also had a repetitive system, and most people had a concern that some could have ended up preying on children, which that was a big thing in the early aughts when people were like, this new frontier, it could also be a dangerous frontier of like, internet safety was not a thing in 2007.
I think it was starting to become a thing in 2007.
Yeah, people realized like, oh, we should monitor what people are doing online. Maybe people are gross, and we should watch that.
Should watch them chat rooms and them shit, because people be creepy. Catch a predator.
Check your predators. But because they didn't really update the skill system, and like once you made money, people kind of found the game boring and unplayable. So when EA took over, they tried to make some changes to make it maybe worth $10 a month. That's a lot. All those 12 cities were merged into one. Do you see where EA's coming in now?
Oh, yeah.
So 12 cities, one city, with the exception of Test Center 3, which remained a testing ground. Only existing users could buy land in EA land. So I think if you were new, you couldn't buy land. You just had to like rent from people.
Okay.
Oh, so like if you bought the subscription, you could buy. Okay. Users could create and upload custom content, purchase custom content from other users, subject to approval by EA. That's actually kind of interesting.
They can purchase custom content?
In the game. So it'd be like, I guess, like, you know how in Animal Crossing you can, like, download certain patterns and, like, people can make certain
Okay.
patterns and then, like, selling them to people. That's actually kind of an interesting concept. If you could buy, like, Max's Match, I'm assuming Max, they would go for Max's Match over Alpha.
Yeah.
If you could buy, like, through the game, like, through the gallery, if you could download, that's kind of an interesting idea.
That's interesting. That's like being able to download the mods or something through
Through the
well, it depends on
gallery.
what kind of custom content. Not mods, maybe like custom content. Yeah.
I wonder if EA could
True.
get away with, like, doing Wicked Whims because they're rated a certain rating and Wicked Whims passes through that. So I wonder if they wouldn't be able to sell certain custom content because of certain restrictions because their company and mods are kind of outside corporate legal allegations.
I don't know. Maybe.
We can recommend this mod that gives you more grid space when you're in cast, but we can't
We
back Wicked
can't.
Whims.
I know, right?
Even though, like, I bet most of them have that in their game, or at least they've played it.
They've definitely
sure.
played. I'm pretty sure there's someone like in EA matches, whatever, for Sims that have to go through and like
Every
look
mod.
at all the mods just to like make sure no one's being funky or weird about it.
What a job. What's your job? Oh, you're an EA. What do you do? I download fan-made things and make sure that they don't make us look bad.
That's like, I wonder if did they know about the couple weird mods that had that controversy was it last year or the beginning of this year? It was like for like children or something like that, or like bestiality, something like that.
I think they knew about it, but also, like, they can't.
I know they can't do anything, but like
Because people I know got mad at them for, like,
not doing anything.
they're a third party and they can't really. They can report it and they can report the website, but they don't own the mod, so they can't, like, shut it down. What kind of tea do you have?
It's an echinacea tea. I'm just all doing. I was gonna do coffee, and then I was like, no. I started feeling my nose, and I'm like, let me do a tea. Be good.
I got a mango situation happening.
I usually do a peppermint tea. I'm an old lady.
I just have a straight, like, because at work I was drinking coffee till 4, and then I'd be, like, vibrating, like, it'd be, like, 2 a.m., and I'd be like, I'm still awake, woo! So I had to switch to tea at, like, 11.
Yeah.
So I have a box of tea that people come steal stuff from my desk. Like, I don't care.
You're like, I don't care. Go ahead.
That's actually, that would be kind of interesting, because I know in Sims 2, in the website, which I can't, the Sims resource, I think, no, that's an actual, that's, you gotta get some content for that.
Wasn't it Sims Exchange?
The Sims Exchange. I think if you downloaded a sim with custom content, you would get the custom content with the sim you downloaded, because
I can see that.
the data was in the file, so I think you would get, or did you have to go, I can't remember anymore. Did I have to go? It's been so long.
Because kind of how it works.
Because you would upload the whole file of the sim when you uploaded it to the Sim Exchange.
Yeah. So I think they would get the custom content with it.
Fun fact, Sims is how I learned how to extract files and put them into... That's how I learned how to do that as a kid. That's how I learned how to computer.
Gotta take those files, extract them. Shoot, MySpace is how I learned how to slightly code.
Yeah, I think everybody of our generation learned how to code via MySpace and LiveJournal, because I needed a purple starry background. I needed that.
You need those breaks and those bolds. You needed certain things. Oh, God, the early 2000s they were great.
Literally everybody knew how to basic code. Everybody knew, like, the basics of going in, Control F, looking for, like, I need to just find this one line so I can put this needs to be purple. I need to find the right, what is the number assigned to purple? It's this. Fantastic.
Oh, yes. I used to have, like, a little cheat sheet of, like, all the little things that, like, all the little code stuff, just so I would remember and be like, okay, this is this makes this bold, italicized. No, I want this way.
Oh, God, why is everything to the left? Oh, God.
I know, right? Ooh, I need one more. This is too close. This wording is too close together. I need like 2 line breaks in between to space it out correctly. Why isn't my song playing in the background?
I'm so glad we moved away from that. There was, I think I saw, it must have been somebody retweeting something on Twitter because someone's like, they don't remember. There's people online who don't remember.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
wouldn't it be cool if our song played every time someone went to your Twitter page? And you're like, no, absolutely not. You don't want that.
Be like, yeah, we had it. It was called MySpace.
Turned out, it's not that great.
It
You
was
get real
slightly
sick of it.
annoying.
You're cool with it for like a week and you're like, no. But if there's somebody listening to us who remembers if you get the custom content and if you downloaded a sim from
Sims
you
Exchange.
just said Sim Exchange, thank you. You just said it. It dropped out. I felt it leave my brain. Let us know because I think that's how I got introduced to custom content. Is I got somebody with some stuff with like makeup on them, and I was like, "What is this? What's
Okay.
happening?"
That makes sense.
Want to know what happens when you change stuff on a well-established thing that's been online? Here's what happened with the accounts. So, okay, there were free accounts, but there was a limit on the free accounts. And you were also required to keep your account over a year. So, if you paid the subscription, could you get land? They were making our sim utopia a capitalist society.
What? That makes no.
So
You just fucking up. You just fucking up, EA
Yeah.
land.
I guess in their brain they thought, because I know for WoW, you can play the first 20 levels for free.
Mm-hmm.
But then after that, you have to pay. And I think they thought, like, you'll get a taste, and then you're going to want to purchase. And it's like, at some point, you're going to be like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what happens, though, when you make changes? People don't like it.
You
Have you ever
don't
been
like
around for a Facebook update? People get pissed.
What? You moved this button over here from here? It is annoying, but y'all do what you do, I guess. But beware of the consequences that come with your changes.
Oh, for sure. And also, like, there was no new content. So you're going to make all these changes. You're going to make people pay $10 to have something they could have done for free a year ago. And you're not going to give any actual new things to do. People are just going to quit.
No, yeah, I'd quit too.
What actually inspired this episode for me is I was listening to another podcast, as with all of my ideas, and it's called 99%, and that podcast pretty much takes a look at if it's man-made, they can do an episode about it. So like your T-shirt, the texture of it, the color, the design, pretty much anything. Architecture. So this is a man-made thing, and they did a whole episode called Game Over, and they actually interviewed people who like talked about who were part of the community when the game went down, and they describe it as like the Titanic sinking, like because they shut it down and people stayed online. It's so sad because they describe it as like the pixels disappearing and everything kind of going away. Because it's being deleted as they're all just like standing there like
they're still in there and it's being deleted
for out of their community. Because like for like especially like early online stuff, like people were
finding invested. People were finding their families, their little online little niches, you know.
I really do like. I think part of the reason like it's okay to be whoever you want to be as long as you're not harmful to people like now is because people, if you were part of a community and you were not like that community, you had nowhere to go, so you just felt bad for yourself. But once the internet hit, you could go find people who were like you, who liked the things you liked, and you found out you're not weird for liking that thing. There's other people who like that thing, and people who like introduce you to more things you like. And so when an online community goes away, a lot of people get cut off, especially at this time. Like it's right when Facebook started to pop, is 2007, 2008. I think that's when they let high school people in, because before only college kids could get in. Because my sister tried to sneak me in, and I was like, I don't want to get in there. What am I going to do in there? So like, yeah, there's an article on 99% Visible that talks about the episode. They're actually interviewing people who went through it. When EA Games pulled the plug on the server, bits and pieces of the world started disappearing. The environment began to disintegrate. The texture of the trees flickered. All the people froze and blinked out of existence. The last thing they saw was a blue pop-up window. Network error. Lost server connection.
Oh.
And it's just like, oh, that's so sad. And like the people were invested in it. And like that must have been like a huge blow to lose the community. Like even the people who are still there, that must have been a huge blow to them.
Oh yeah.
I'd be so sad.
I'm sad now. Just that was beautiful writing. Whoever
I know.
wrote that.
I was like, we need to do an episode. We will do a less good episode on Sims Online.
All of our episodes are good. What are you talking about, Caitlin?
Everything's a treasure. We're the best. We're the best.
Straight. Keep that mentality.
Every time I stream, I'm like, I'm the best Sims player. I don't know how this works.
Like, I don't know how this works.
Oh, escape. So no one really expected the Sims franchise to be as big as it has been, as it is. I still don't think people expect, like, everybody's shocked still. When I'm like, yeah, this is a really big game.
I know, right? Like, I was telling one of my other coworkers, I was like, oh yeah, I have a podcast. They're like, oh, what's your podcast? And I was like, Sims. They're like, oh really? Like, they're like, oh snap. And then he's like, oh yeah, my girlfriend's just getting back into Sims. And I was like, see, I'm like, what? She goes, it's Sims 3. I'm like, hey, either way, I'm like, Sims is still around. Doesn't matter. Like, it's still a huge thing.
I had a lot of people be like, there's enough stuff to talk about. And I was like, you would be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
The drama, the things that are there, the things that are not there, the things that used to be there.
Things we wish that were there.
Even before, like, I'm really excited for cottage living. I'm mostly excited for, I don't need to hear people complain about farming anymore. I don't need to hear it anymore.
No.
It's like the opposite of that planet being exploded in Star Wars, of like, you're sad by the lack of all the screams gone. Now it's all the screams are gone and we're so happy.
That's true. What was the other thing they were bitching about, the community?
It's babies.
Farming, babies.
The babies one I don't care about also.
Oh, they still want cars.
Beep, beep. Yeah.
I'm a hit or miss with cars. They're cool aesthetic, but...
It'd just be aesthetic. There's nowhere for them to go. There was a whole episode about what I had an opinion.
Yeah.
I talked about it.
Go back to that episode.
Beep, beep, motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one now. I get that on sticker. Beep, beep, motherfuckers.
I wanted that to be the title of the episode, kinda, but also I knew we might get flagged somewhere for it, so I was like, never mind. Maybe it won't be the title.
Not that one. But secretly the title is called Beep, beep, motherfuckers.
Is that right? As approximately 16,000 expansion packs to follow? That can't be right. That fact seems wrong to me. That there are 16,000 expansion packs for Sims. That can't be right. There's no way. I would say 100. I'd say probably over like 100, which is still a lot.
Maybe that. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a big.
I don't trust this number, so I'm gonna ignore it.
I don't trust this number.
But pretty much EA in 2007 and 8 made the same mistake it's kind of still doing to this day. It looks at statistics and tries to make, like, it doesn't look at what people are asking for. It looks at statistics, tries to gauge, and they lost money over it. And then they'd be like, I don't know, people don't want it anymore, I guess. And you close it. And it's like, people didn't want what you were offering.
Just change it back.
Yeah. I guess around the time after EA purchased Maxis, a lot of developers stayed on to continue their work on the Sims franchise. A few of them left. A few developers left after The Sims Online was rebranded to EA Land. Unhappy with the change, these EA Maxis developers created a free clone called Tiernua. The online clone is a browser-based game on their official website or Facebook. We can't find it, though. I tried to access the game, but the site can't be reached. The last Facebook update was 2019, so it's probably not active anymore. But that free SO launcher does still work, at least as, like, 4 months ago. I do also recommend that Plumbella episode, because it's very nice. It's very wholesome. What a wholesome place.
Always so wholesome.
But, of course, the past is the past. Sims Online, like, Sims is online now, so you kind of have to be online to access the gallery, which I get, but I hate that you have to launch it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Sims 5 if it went online like this? Like if it became an MMO?
Mm,
Because there was a lot of talk about it like early this, like a lot last year and early this year.
okay, so I never really played um World of Warcraft or any like MMOs like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure because I'm so used to having my sim in my little world,
Right?
you know. So I don't know how you feel. Like if I can have it where I can stay in my own little world, but then have like an option to go
Yeah.
online,
Mm-hmm.
like made it a vacation or whatever spot or something like that to go. And so then when you're on vacation, you're with other Sims and online wise. But I wouldn't
Right.
want that to be a permanent part of my gameplay.
Yeah, and I think I said this in the last social money. Like, I like this game partially because I control it. Like,
Yes.
there's aspects of the game I can't control, which I like because that's a game. But
Hmm.
like, it's my sim. It's my choice. It's my like. I told that like yes, they died in the Murphy bed, but I told them to go on there, and I knew the risk that they died in the Murphy bed. So
Yeah.
that's what I
That
accept
was
on this game.
that was just the outcome of my choice.
But I also do like the idea of like if you could run a restaurant on an online world and have other Sims come and like have other people's Sims come and eat at it, or like a hotel or something,
Mm-hmm.
and the shenanigans that could happen because of that. I can see like how that would be cool. But I do like what you said about having this world is mine, and then there's like in I hate find a better name, EA. Find EA land place where we all go and hang out.
Yes. Yes. Whether it's just another destination spot or just a whole nother click option.
Mm-hmm.
But
Fully online, no.
I wouldn't want it fully online. That is Allie's preference. People suck.
People do suck.
People suck.
Would we be able to chat too? Like, would they bring in the chat feature or talk? Like, especially with Sims Online. When Sims Online was out, talking like there wasn't a Discord. It was hard. Like, I people didn't have mics. Oh, hi, cat. Hello. Like, people didn't have those things. So
Yeah.
now, could we verbally talk to each other? Would we chat? Like, there's more weird options that could get you could form a tighter community. Like, would we have guilds? Like, because like in World of Warcraft, you have a guild where that's your group of people, and like you all chat to each other. Like my guild has a Discord channel, and like you do stuff together because you're band because it's a group activity. So what could yeah.
I feel like maybe they would do that for like the clubs.
Mm.
Maybe make that more of like online aspects, and you do have actual people in that club with you, and then you guys can all say, "Hey, you all want to do a club meetup or whatever?" And then it's
It's a
actually like a
sorority.
it's
We
like
could
an
actually
actual club meetup type thing. So it's not just random times of, "Hey, you want to meet up at this place?" or "We haven't had a club thing. Hey, you should
we could
go meet this
actually have
place."
an Under the Plum Bob clubhouse.
We could.
Julia could build it, and we could all decorate our own rooms.
Oh, that'd be so cool. But again, not part of my main gameplay. On the
No,
side.
it's our side hustle.
Our side clubhouse. I want to be able to decorate my own main clubhouse by
Mhm,
myself.
mhm, 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 mhm. And like, I also wonder about like the because we do have certain people who are just more famous in the Sims community, and like if Plumbella or Little Simsy goes in, or like any of the Sim gurus, like are they just gonna like how would people react to them in real time?
I think that'd be interesting. That part of it.
Yeah, we didn't have.
If we had, because now we do have those, I want to say not Sim celebrities, but you know those Sims people,
We are the famous like
the more famous Sim players, the content creators. You know, I think that'd be a cool aspect, so people could interact with them. But I feel like Sims though is like it's together, but also like so separate because everyone has their own individual game. You know?
And like I always feel weird judging. Like sometimes I feel weird when I stream, so I'm like, I feel like my game is really heteronormative, and like oh god, like should I do this because people are watching? But like I don't know. Like it's some stuff you're just like my game is like this, and I know other people play it like
Mm-hmm.
this, and like would you get judged on your gameplay if you would?
Probably. People judge shit now.
We are a
Yeah.
judgy community. And I also like I didn't realize like I was like till we started doing the podcast, I was like, oh, I play really heteronormative. I didn't think about it. I didn't think about that at all. That's just how I played.
Yeah, I realized I have a whole lot more drug, sex, and like all kind of shit. I don't know why. I thought that was so normal until everyone else like, oh, what? I'm like, oh, am I? Is this not normal? This is just basic shit I need to have in my game. So,
I like setting up.
but then what would happen? And when you have those mods, would we still have those mods? Would we be able to do all that? Would we be able to share the drugs to other people if they didn't want to? Like, how would this work, EA?
Because I know like Sims is like for WoW, they're not called mods, they're called add-ons. So it's stuff that
Mm.
makes your UI different that you can change up. Like I can track my damage and stuff, or like I push this button and this like and make certain mounts appear or whatever. But it's a UA change. It's not changing the core function of how the game works, which is how a lot of these mods work.
Okay.
So it's like, will we just be able to do UI changes? And also, like, I don't download clothes for World of Warcraft
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know if you can. Because I think it's a little more complicated. With I'm controlling where my sim runs around, or my little person runs around.
Yeah. I don't know.
But in February 2020, because they are working on The Sims 5, which is terrifying to me, even though it's been going on for 7 years. Uh,
I don't know. I don't know. I think yeah.
I know I feel that.
I don't remember the transition between Sims 3 and Sims 4.
Well, I do
I
remember
feel like
Sims 4 was a big disappointment because it didn't come with a lot at base game. I think a lot of people downloaded it, went, oh, and then they went back to their other game.
yeah, I think I did. I think I did too. I think I was so excited, and I think I played it. Then I went, okay, this is kind of cool. And then I went back to Sims 3 for a little bit until Sims 4 got a little bit more stuff. And I
Well,
think I
even
found a little bit more like I think I got more into mods on Sims 4.
I did, yeah. Sims 4 has been much more mod heavy. I don't think I had I don't think I knew what mods were in Sims 2. I definitely downloaded like clothes because Sims has always had a problem with any kind of hair that's not dead straight. Like
Yes.
I don't know why it took them so long. That's one of the like I don't know why it took you guys so long to figure out like not
Curls and like volume that's
yeah.
not like weird looking.
It doesn't look like I'm gonna hit it and I'm gonna hurt my hand. I don't know why.
Yes.
I don't know why it
Like a
took you
lot of
guys.
hairspray in that volume is just plastic. It's just like it's
And you
not moving.
based a fro off of cauliflower? Why? Why did you do that?
Yes.
You based off of like the whitest vegetable? Why? Why you do that?
I mean, you see the makeup of your programming team, Sims, because y'all took a while.
Long time. That is one thing. I like EA is a company, but it is made up of people, and like the corporation controls like it's a whole complicated system. But I
Y'all
will
are
fight on
based
like
in the Bay Area. Y'all are not far from my house. We are a very diverse area, okay?
can you drive down and just be like, excuse me, can't, oh, I can't.
I've been tempted with some shit they've been doing to be like, hey, what's going on, y'all? What are we doing?
What are we doing right now?
I have a Sims podcast and I'm very invested in this. What are we doing?
We know you've
Y'all are
at
y'all
least
fucking
listened
up.
to one. Pause for cat purrs.
Oh, kitty.
Okay, go away. She's like, no. Okay, please.
Oh, that purr.
Someone's gonna have to edit you out.
Cat's like, I guess I'll go over here. Fine.
Whatever. But in February 2020, a simpler time for all of us. In reference to the production of Sims 5, Andrew Wilson, who is EA CEO, so I will judge him partially, As Maxis continues to think about The Sims for a new generation, cross platforms, and a cloud of neighborhood world, you should imagine while we always stay true to our inspiration, escape, creation, self improvement motivations, that this notion of social interactions and competition, like the kinds of things that were actually present in The Sims Online many, many years ago, that they will start to become a part of The Sims experience in the years to come. Which is interesting because I don't think they launched Sparked yet. So I think like Sparked was also an attempt at this with Sims 4. I think
so, with the competition.
Mm-hmm. And there's a huge ass quote here that's literally just a paragraph. I didn't want to read all of it. But, like, I think like they were trying to play, because I don't think the Sparked show came out yet. I don't think the Sparked competition came on. So I think they're trying to figure out how to use the social, like, I think EA is still kind of shocked at how big Sims community can be and how vocal they can be. Mm-hmm. And I think they're trying to figure out how to use the community better. They haven't figured it out yet. I'm not sure if Sims Online is the way to go, but I think the Sparked thing was kind of a thing in the right direction, a community like challenge.
Yeah, Sparked was interesting because I don't have cable, but wasn't it actually like, was it on something?
You can go watch it on YouTube. That's what we did.
Yeah, I watched it on YouTube, but for some reason I felt like
it was on cable.
That's what I thought, yeah.
I wanted to see the stats on the cable show so bad. I was like, who would watch this, a challenge show for a Sims game?
I don't know. People like to watch Lego Masters.
That's true. Could you imagine it's just a channel just for, like, gaming stuff? It's just gaming stuff.
Isn't that what they basically have?
It's like sports channel, but I guess that's what Twitch is.
Wait, it was on TBS. That sounds about right.
Right.
I forgot there was an actual Team Cow Plant and a Team Llama.
Our episode, we're like, this is suspicious. This is suspicious. We're just saying.
See what y'all did there.
And now there's a llama in the game, so we see you. We just need a social bunny, and we got it. Even though the bunny's in the fridge, but I don't think he counts.
You're not gonna give me stats on the TV? Lame.
Yeah, it's not around, and I would love to see it because I just want to know who watched it on television. Because it got like a decent amount of hits on YouTube, I think.
I think so.
I was wondering how long it would take for us to have to start Googling during. Yeah, it's over 1 million views for the first episode, but then it's only 403 views for the second, and less than 300,000. It's 400,000 for the second episode, and less than 300,000 for the last episode. So like each episode it goes down more.
Oh.
Also, they had to split the teams of 3, which they didn't know they were getting into, had to split the money. And I was like, I feel like you told them they could win the full amount, and then they had to find out they were going to split up the money between 3 people. Oh. Which is still free money, but it's still like, I thought I was getting $100,000 myself, and this is less money than that. This is a third less money than that. 2/3. We enjoyed it for the people who watched the episode, but also like we also have a Sims podcast, so like it's geared towards us.
It is very geared toward us.
We had opinions. You can go. I forget what the name of that episode is. You can go watch that episode. Let me find it.
Is that the Daddy Dave episode?
It is the Daddy Dave episode. 100% correct. That is what it is.
I was like, I remember, that was the Daddy Dave episode.
And he tweeted at us, which was horrifying.
Oh my god, I fangirled so hard. If you guys don't know.
Oh yeah, that's a Sims Online.
Sims Online. But
it's dead, but for how long?
Totally fangirled when Basemental tweeted back. I was like, yes.
So we did a bonus episode for our Patreon last month was Allie. So this episode was just me telling Allie facts about Sims Online. That episode was just Allie telling me about the base metal mod. And we tweeted at them, and like we don't ever expect anyone to tweet back at us because like, who are we? But like they listened to it.
They listened to it. They became a Patreon and then listened to the bonus episode, and we were shook. I was shook.
I don't think they liked my seal joke, but that's okay.
The seal of approval. I can't. Yeah.
They said like I might be biased, but I like it, and I retweeted with like seal of approval, and they didn't like it, so I don't think they liked the joke, but that's okay.
It's okay. They pay $3, so it's fine.
So we're mildly famous.
It's okay, people. You can send us all the fan mail you want. Positive only. No, I'm kidding.
I really hope in the next update they have a thing where you sprinkle stuff onto tacos instead of making it out of oil. Something stupid.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Dear, okay.
I hope there's just a very stupid small reference and it's just like... Or they could have something named after you, because you actually pay. Also, pay your modders. We're not asking a whole bunch.
Yeah, pay your modders.
It's not a big thing. They did work. They deserve money.
They do a lot of work to make your gameplay a lot better. So, support your mods.
Support your modders. They do work. Support your podcast creators. We have a Patreon. Our Patreon, you can get bonus episodes once a month. I think Vanity, Jen, and Jess are doing the bonus episode this month is about unsolved mysteries. Is that right?
Or conspiracies? One of those two?
Yeah. We're pretty much being, what kind of podcasters do we want to be this month? We're going to talk about murders.
Y'all pay to hear us talk.
About anything. We pretty much just pick a topic. I want to talk about this. We're like, okay, go. Just record it.
Just record it in time and get to us.
Hell, you can just give us $1. Then you get access to our Discord. Our Discord has lots of stuff going on. We're pretty active in there. There's a book club that happens once a month. What are we reading this month? We skipped last month because it was a bad, the world opened up, so we're all like, oh God, I'm so sorry. So we're going over, I'm opening my Kindle. Last month was the final revival of Open Nev, which I liked. And this month's book is The Woman in Cabin 10. So, we read books and we talk.
Yeah.
We just talk on Discord about the book and then we don't talk about the book. We talk about the book for like 5 minutes. Like any good book club meeting, we talk about the book vaguely and then we just talk about stuff.
That sounds about right.
Every third Sunday is our
showcase.
We go through, if you tag under the UTPB or under the Plum Bob, we'll find it. UTPB is preferred. We take a look at stuff in the gallery on Sims 4. There's a lot of cool stuff. Julia has a shell challenge once a month. I'm going to retweet that on my Twitter. But we post it on our Twitter and in our Discord and in our Instagram so people can start working on those shells. It's a good time. Lots of good builds. Lots of good
builds.
So many.
Y'all are creative.
Special shout out to Kate in our Discord who makes the most elaborate builds I've ever seen.
On flipping console, yo.
Yeah, she builds on console. I think I brought this up the last time. There's no game changers who are console players, and I feel like that should change. I feel like there should be some console game changers. If you guys listening, I don't know if they are. I don't know. Feel like I'm just going to keep bringing it up until it happens. And I do want to read an email we got from Ria. She's Rikitik on the gallery, whom I was looking at that name, and I was like, that looks really familiar. Why does Rikitik look familiar? And fun fact, I already follow her in the gallery. It's a small Sims world.
Isn't it funny how you just follow people you like on the gallery and then sooner or later you find them
yeah, I was like,
you're like, oh,
you're a real person. So she said, I just want to write to thank your team for your Princess Cordelia episode. I absolutely love hearing all the lore compiled together about her story. You mean the only lore in Sims 4? Oh, look at that.
Nice.
When I built an entry for Kate Emerald's Puzzle Shell Challenge, I used Princess Cordelia's story as my inspiration. I built a palace with a tea corner for her to entertain the tedious princes, a personal and public library, can't have those peasants either illiterate or besmirching her private library, a local pub to meet her pirate boyfriend, a furniture workshop, and a pier beside which you can see the Kraken attacking her private submersible. I had so much fun with this build, and I was chosen as a finalist, and my build was featured in Kate Emerald's video. Thanks so much for the inspiration. If you would like to see my build, it's called Princess Cordelia's Palace. My gallery is Riki Teak. Your devoted fan, Riki Teak. P.S. I'm a modder on a Sims 4 Facebook group. I fangirled so hard when I found out a fellow mod in the group, Hip Hip Renee, knew you guys. It's a small world. We love Hip Hip Renee. We love Riki. I like Riki Teak. I've actually already I pre-follow her gallery. I did take a look at this build and it's nuts. So probably for the next showcase we're gonna show it because like the corner where the Kraken is attacking, like she used the mother tendrils and stuff to showcase it. It's really cool.
Ooh.
And of course there is the Kate Emerald's video for her puzzle piece. You can go look her up in the Kate Emerald's puzzle piece video. And also, shout out to Hip Hip Renee. If you don't know Hip Hip Renee, she makes YouTube videos. They're builds, but they're also about famous murders.
Yeah.
She really found like that niche.
That little niche.
This is like the perfect millennial overlap of Sims and murder.
Sims and murder houses. She's in Wickedly Adult Simmers group, something like that, for like. Again, that a little niche. And she's in there.
I wish you'd put what Facebook group she's in. Because, like, sometimes when I'm reposting our episodes to Facebook, I forget that some of them don't like self-promotion, and I've gotten blocked many a time from many a Facebook groups.
You're like, no self-promotion. You're like, oh, yeah.
Some of you do, some of you don't. You're all, like, kind of named The Sims 4, and I forget. I'm so sorry. I literally just go,
You're like, Sims? What?
But that is it. Is there anything else?
No.
Oh, rate and review us, please. Please feel free. We're starting to read out reviews and read out emails again. So please leave a review. Be nice, please. We prefer niceness.
Or,
subscribe anywhere. Oh, and like if you want to hear a topic be talked about, like something you're like, I can't believe you guys haven't done an episode on plant sims yet.
Ooh.
Actually, we should do that.
Come on, plant sims. Not even talking about it.
So. I don't think so.
I don't play with plant sims too often.
I don't either, because it freaked me out in Sims 2, because they would just peel off. That's how they would just make a clone of themselves.
Oh.
In Sims 2, they couldn't actually get pregnant. They would just, like, self whatever that divide is, and they would create they'd make a baby then.
Oh.
That's the Plant Sim episode. That's the entire thing.
This is going to be me just going, oh, the entire time.
Oh, no. I don't know about that.
Oh, no about that.
And per usual, I have no idea what they were like in Sims 3.
But you guys can find us all on our social media. We are PlumBobCast on Instagram and Twitter. PlumBob Podcast on Reddit. Under the PlumBob Podcast on Facebook and Tumblr. And then you can contact us at our website, undertheplumbobpodcast.com, or you can email us at undertheplumbobpodcast@gmail.com. As Caitlin said, rate, review, and subscribe. We are on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, anywhere you get your podcast at.
Your friendly neighborhood podcast area, except not Pandora. They hate us. We're sick to deal with them.
Pandora's. Ugh. Who even uses Pandora? Sorry.
I don't know. For podcasts, it seems weird to me, but like no judgment. You do you. Sims Wiki was super helpful on this. 99% does not need our promotion, but I really like the podcast. Roman Mars has a very calm voice. They just talk about like design stuff. Want to know a random fact I learned because of this podcast, because of that podcast, besides this whole episode? There was, before clocks were like everybody had a watch on them, there was a job. Somebody would like put down the down payment for like a watch. They'd get up super early, and their job was to go around town and like wake people up in like olden times, because like not everybody had a watch and they had to get up early, and their job was called a knocker upper.
Stop. No, you didn't have another name for that? A knocker upper?
Just a knocker upper.
Oh, what are you doing today? I'm being a knocker upper today.
And also, this was also brought up, and I like this fact a lot. Speaking of murder, because like police officers would also do this on the side because they were awake anyway. So they were like, you would like be like, okay, give me like 5 pence and I'll wake you up in the morning, whatever. Or there's a theory that part of the reason like Jack the Ripper got away from some of his murders is because the police weren't where they were supposed to be. They were busy doing their on the side job of waking people up. So that's why they missed it. So.
See? Never mind. I'm not going to get into that conversation about people not doing their job. That's a whole nother podcast and a whole nother topic.
Yeah, you learn stuff like
that. Oh, society.
Sims Wiki, Summer's Digest. We are fans of Summer's Digest. We love their podcast. We love their info. I retweet them a lot when I can't get the info out. But yeah. And thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us, and hope you guys enjoyed our tidbits and tangents and our discussion of early 2000s internet, where it was kind of the wild, wild west, and they were just kind of doing stuff.
It really does. I think it was probably Reddit, where someone's like, do you remember how, like, unending the internet seemed like in the early aughts 90s, and now we just go to, like, 3 websites? And it's like, It seems so much more contained now. It's like, yeah, it's a bummer. I miss Stumble Upon. Do you remember Stumble Upon?
I don't. I remember this website called, like, Albino Black Sheep, and it had the most randomest stuff on there. I don't even know this website still exists. If anyone knows about this random website that clicked in the back of their brain, it had, like, weird videos and a couple little 8-bit games that were just real random shit. But it was one of those websites that me and my friends always went to. Just because you could.
There was also, what was that one song where it was like, llama, llama, cat, there are llamas, there's a llama, there are llama.
Oh, yeah.
If it was ever editing this, can find that song, that can be the play out.
Oh, dear Lord.
It's a very annoying song. But I think when I first got assigned to Team Llama, I was like, llama, llama. There's a llama and a llama.
Now that, again, another click in the back of my brain, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember.
One more, and we're going to activate something, but we don't know what that thing is going to be.
All of it. What else did we do in the early 2000s? Oh, I was just really on the Disney Channel.com with their games.
Yeah.
Yeah, their little computer browser games where I would play those for hours.
Those old typing games are legitimately why I think I'm an okay typist now, because there's just all those typing games you could do.
Oh, yeah. They taught us so much in the early 2000s.
He did. Shout out to Math Blaster. You can't use.
Oh, yes.
They would have not named that nowadays, but shout out to them for attempting to teach us math.
Try to make us, play games and learn math at the same time. I feel like it kind of worked, but kind of didn't at the same time.
In Muppet Treasure Island, I had that on the CD. And Where in Time is San Diego? Because she went and was we're on the case and we're chasing her through history.
I remember that.
It's a good theme song she's got. She got a great theme song.
Oh, Carmen San Diego. That's a good one.
just being her best life, just being
Her
like
best
peace.
self. You know, they redid the show on Netflix.
Yeah, America Fiera, I think, is the voice of Carmen Sandiego.
A little tidbit. Okay, I think that's it, right?
That's it. We did it.
That's it.
We're online. Sim's online. It's online, but it's not. It's here, but it's dead. It might be coming back.
Maybe coming back. Let us know your opinions on that. How you guys feel if Sims 5 was online?
And answer my gallery question about the Sim Exchange, because I can't remember anymore. I feel like you did get some of the custom content.
I don't know. Let us know. Someone let us know.
We don't know anymore. It's been so long. We're so old.
It's been at least, what, 19, or no, we came out in 2006.
It's like, we're not that old. Don't do that.
We're not that old. I was thinking early 2000s. I was thinking like early 2000s.
Oh, it's been
like 15 years at least?
Yeah.
I can't do math this early. It's too early for me. Yeah,
it's been time. It's been over a decade, and that's long enough.
Time has no construct.
Time is a made-up contract. Get you a knocker-upper to wake you up. Anything's possible.
I can't. Okay, dokie. You guys have a great day.
Bye.
Be safe. Make good choices. Save your game. Continue to wash your hands.
Always wash your hands. Drink water. Take care of yourself.
Wear a mask if you're not vaccinated.
Be your best you. Goodbye.
Barish. Dag dag.